This episode is powered and sponsored by Fort Way Media. Whether it's a special event, your wedding day, or maybe a small business looking to make an advertisement or commercial, Fort Way Media is the obvious choice. They turn everyday life into a cinematic experience. When you want to capture those special moments, look no further. Stop what you're doing. Check out fortwaymedia.com, book an appointment today, and don't miss out on another chance to get what you want in front of the big screen. Whether it is expert videography or photography, Fort Way Media can match exactly what you're looking for. Fort Way Media is known for helping out small businesses and everyone reach their dreams. Sign up today. Spring break's coming up, and I'm sure you're going down to the beach. We've got the suntan oil for you. Do you not wear Speedos and you're always wearing trunks, don't want to expose those cheeks? It's called Under the Sun Buns. That's right. All you got to do is put on your swim trunks. A buddy of yours, all he has to do, oils up their hands, and as they kneel down in position in front of you, takes their hands and goes right behind your thighs. That's right, right up the shorts, and gets a nice good old rub in. While he's rubbing, you can be tugging on his hair to let him know when you're done. And then finally, when he's done, under the sun, under the shorts, you'll be feeling spectacular. Save 10% when you use the discount code TAKE303 under the bun, and we'll make sure that your cheeks are fresh and cooked.
So my dad called me, right? And he asked, what are we doing for the podcast this week? And I tell him we're going to go see the new Roadhouse. And he's like, why are you going to go see that trash? I'm like, have you seen it? He's like, no. He's like, but I'm going to go see Ghostbusters. He goes, Roadhouse is a remake. And I'm like, get off your high horse because you're seeing Ghostbusters 4. The silence was deafening right after that.
Sound, speeding, camera, rolling, scene 61. Take 303, mark.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by Fort Way Media, the podcast with the guy who knows a lot about film.
And his friend.
I'm Nick Molinari.
I'm JP Brooks. We're talking everything film and television, and today we are talking about Roadhouse.
But first, in cinematic news, Joker 2 is being described as a jukebox musical with 15 well-known songs in the soundtrack, covers, and 2 original songs because it's a musical.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel indifferent. I feel like that doesn't change anything for me. I feel like that just sounds like a basic movie.
Okay.
There's a Happy Gilmore sequel in the works. They announced it by saying that fans are clamoring for it. I'm a fan of the original, but I wasn't clamoring for it.
Okay.
And Chubbs just passed away. How are we doing this?
Did he really?
Yeah, that's your boy.
Yeah.
I have faith in a new Cat in the Hat animated film starring Bill Hader.
As the cat?
In the Hat.
Interesting. Okay.
I like it.
I don't know if I like it, but I didn't even watch the Jim Carrey one. If that he was in that?
No, it was Mike Myers.
Oh, I never watched the Michael Myers one. Yeah.
I don't think I watched it. I think I've only seen the recut trailer where they turn it into a horror movie.
Oh.
Because if you look at the costume, yeah, it is kind of horrifying.
All right.
Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flanery are returning to a new Boondock Saints movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's been like, what, 20 years?
Yeah. Why are we doing this? There's too
I don't
much.
know. Yeah, everything I'm
stories.
feeding you right now is just remake, reboot, sequel.
Everyone's playing it so safe.
This could be magical. A new James Bond has been potentially named.
Like the movie or the character, like the actor?
Like the actor that's going to now play James Bond. So he's been offered the role.
To who?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Who's that?
That's the guy that plays Kick-Ass and Quicksilver and Bullet Train.
Kick-Ass himself?
He is naturally British.
I didn't know he was British.
Remember Bullet Train, the 2 guys that were brothers?
Yeah.
The white one?
That's him?
Yeah,
no shot that's
yeah,
him.
That's Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Clementine or like the orange?
Yeah, Tangerine and...
Yeah. This guy? Yeah, if you watch Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass and you only know him from that, there's no way you ever recognize this guy.
No, you learned something.
Also, shout out to Joey. He just had a baby. My buddy Joey.
Oh.
He's the first in the squad to have a child. So shout out to him. That's what that text.
Good job, Joey.
Yeah, good job.
The more and more I see like engagement stuff on like our Facebook timelines and like baby announcements and everything, I'm slowly getting over the fact that people are doing this on purpose now. But I'm also like still in the mindset of like, why are we announcing that we just like, you know?
In high school, nobody was clapping. Now everybody is.
Oh, what a time. But yeah, no, I'm actually excited about this Aaron Taylor Johnson idea. I think he's a strong candidate. I think there could be a lot of openings for comedy in this. I think we could get like a Pierce Brosnan type of Bond back.
I guess, I don't know. I mean, he did a great job in Bullet Train. I thought he was great. I don't know if he can be Bond. I think you really need someone who isn't known. Like Daniel Craig really wasn't known before Bond, right?
Yeah, he has small roles.
Exactly. So I think you kind of need that actor. Like Pierce Brosnan, sort of the same.
You didn't know who Aaron Taylor Johnson was.
Right. But now I know. Right? So now I know.
Today we're talking about Doug Liman's Roadhouse, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Daniela Melchior, Billy Magnuson, Jessica Williams, Joaquin D. Almeida, Austin Post, and Conor McGregor.
When disgraced UFC fighter Dalton meets and comes across a bar owner with a bar in Florida Keys called the Roadhouse, owner asked Dalton to help clean up some of the bad customers that have been coming in and wrecking the place. So he agrees, goes down to Florida Keys where he becomes the number one in charge bouncer, and he starts cleaning up some of the ruffians that are involved. However, when a business owner gets involved and wants the Roadhouse for themselves, Dalton will have to get invested and do something about it. And that is Roadhouse.
And first initial thoughts, I think this is a movie that I myself am very divided on, because if you're a fan of the original, I feel like you're going to have a very different experience with this than if you're just watching this for the very first time.
Yeah, if you've never seen Roadhouse, I can see why people like it, because there legitimately is nothing like it.
It's such an oddball movie. I've seen it since I was a kid.
I think I had just gotten back from the bar. I think it was during college. We got a month free of Showtime while I was visiting my parents, and it was just on. And the only reason I started watching it was because I really liked the music that was playing from the band, and I saw Patrick Swayze like flip a guy. I'm like, what the hell is this? And so I just continue to watch it.
Yeah, there was just so much charm and appeal to the original Roadhouse. And for anyone listening, if you haven't seen the original Roadhouse, you definitely should watch it. We highly recommend it.
It's a cheesy action movie, but like for all the reasons it's bad, it's good.
It's kind of critical for us to discuss it while reviewing the new Roadhouse. We're probably going to go back and forth a lot just because it's kind of impossible to talk about this one without talking about the original. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first movie in the podcast that is a remake that we're reviewing.
Okay, I guess that's true. Wow.
Immediately, let's talk about the story. The story of the original and the story of the remake are basically around about the same for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I think only minor details are changed here and there. Like Dalton's obviously, like, his backstory is different. He still ends up having a past where he killed someone and he's dealing with that. Although I feel like in the original they dealt with that in a better way. I don't know if you vividly remember it.
No, I don't remember. I just knew he killed someone too, yeah.
Yeah, because I rewatched it last week because I was just so hyped about this. And basically he got into a fight with this guy at a bar, and it turns out that Patrick Swayze was messing around with this girl. He had no idea that she was married. And the husband came after him, and he was defending himself, and he ended up killing the guy.
Right.
Which makes him a much more sympathetic character than what is happening here with Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
Yeah. It's alluded to a little bit that this guy clearly did something to him, but they don't. Just has like fight rage. Like he just gets real heated up, and that's it.
Yeah, and so he takes like a dirty shot, an illegal shot at another fighter in the ring, and then he just like wails on him and kills him in the ring. But also at the same time, Patrick Swayze's character was from NYU, and he studied psychology, philosophy. That's what it was.
Yep.
Very different characters here. The main antagonist is very different. The other one was controlling the town. This one is kind of like answering to other people and trying to get money. What did you notice different in the story?
That they don't have a consistent band, which upsets me because the blind guy who is the singer of the band, he's like one of my favorite characters from the original. The villain is essentially just the son of what you would have had the original villain. I think some of the henchmen are great, way better. If I can give this one henchman in particular.
Arturo is his name.
Arturo, by far the best character in the entire thing.
Steals every scene that he's in.
Steals every scene. We have a lot more side characters that really don't matter. So there's some things they did that I liked that they changed. There was this almost mentorship vibe that he gave to some of the younger ones.
See, I didn't pick up on that. I felt like there was more mentorship in the Patrick Swayze one than this one, because we had like that group of bouncers and he was actually training them. He had the rules of like, first rule, be nice. Second rule, be nice. And when you can't be nice, take them outside, you know, that kind of thing. And there was none of that. And also over time in the original, the gate in front of the blind singer and his band comes down. It never comes down in this one.
Yeah.
So there's no real progression. And they do like a little montage in this one where they show that things are getting cleaned up, but not really, and they're not showing why.
Well, I mean, they are showing why the other bouncers are getting better, but they make some... Overall, I think most of the changes they make are either neutral or bad, only a few good ones.
Also, Patrick Swayze, he has just this natural charisma about him. Like, we watched the Honors trailer right after seeing the new Roadhouse, and, you know, even the movie trailer guy was gushing over Patrick Swayze. Like, he is so cool. And I didn't feel that with Jake Gyllenhaal. Something that you said, that it needs a balance. It kind of jumps all over the place with these different characters, and especially when you have a lot of useless characters, it's easy to get lost in the sauce.
Objectively, they're both bad movies. Just one of them's a great bad movie.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's where this falls, is you have two bad movies, but one is glorious in how awful it is. And the other one is just bad, but with not a lot of the reward. Like, we were laughing a lot during this Roadhouse, which I think saves it. Because some of it is just plain hysterical, but it's almost taking itself very seriously. They're going for a lot of emotional depth that I feel like in the original Roadhouse was there, but not really.
I do agree that this was going for a more serious tone, and it sounds like on my side that I'm shitting on this more than anything, but I did have a decent time with it. My issues are that it's not as faithful to its source material. I get it. In a remake, you don't want to just redo shot for shot exactly the original, because that wouldn't be, you know, right either. But I feel like there are staples that you need, and one of the biggest ones that I find missing is the exclusion of the character of Wade.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need a Wade character with this guy, but that's Wade Garrett.
Yeah, like everybody knows Wade Garrett, and if he's getting too old, you call Dalton. Like, that was just the thing. And saying it, you know, you just said it right there. You said the lines. That's what sells this movie. That for some reason everybody name drops bouncers, that we just know the world of bouncers and who's the best one. That was the cheese of this movie. By grounding it and making it a ex-UFC fighter who just, you know, does bouncing, it kind of takes it away.
Like, in some sense, it makes it more real. Like, oh yeah, people would know who a UFC fighter is. It almost becomes too grounded. Like, the movie needs to be a little more, campy and not so real. And the problem is, if you're remaking a movie, which in no way can ever be a real thing, they're trying to make it real. And I give them, I mean, they take their shot. They did what they could, but at the end of the day, it is a remake of Roadhouse, which is just a silly action movie.
It would be like taking something like Mannequin.
Yeah.
And trying to do a serious version, like a grounded version of that.
Yeah. No, that...
The villain in the original literally destroyed half the town to prove that this is his town.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work that way.
This is my town.
Who's standing out in this film to you?
It's Arturo. He just is. Like, I say this sincerely. I feel like everybody else is just okay. I don't even like Jake Gyllenhaal that much in this movie. I think he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's being Jake, but I mean, the script is bad, so I don't blame him. But Arturo is the only character in this movie who is aware that he's in a movie. Everybody else is awful.
It's like, it's only 25 miles away.
Yeah. Like, his lines are great. The delivery's perfection.
If they gave that type of energy, I think, to most of the characters, I think it would have worked better. You know, we said it out loud. We were like, oh, like, Dalton is the best bouncer around. And if not for Wade Garrett, like, having those lines and building these characters up to this, you know, this kind of icon status, that's how they could have saved this movie.
Would have been funny if they had like a bouncer competition. Like that just would have been just a ridiculous.
Like a scene where they audition bouncers and stuff like that. Yeah,
that'd be funny.
Like, obviously, we have to talk about this. Conor McGregor is officially the highest paid actor for a first-time role in history, in film history. A lot of people online are saying that he did an amazing job, that he's carrying this film.
I think Conor McGregor is the camp, but like imagine if we have a few more Conor McGregor-esque lines and characters, then Conor McGregor is standing out. I get why some people probably really like him in this movie, because he is making this movie loony, like crazy. Like it's wacky with him in it. I didn't particularly think he was good, but maybe he's so bad he's good.
I mean, you were doing a lot of Leprechaun jokes.
Yeah. Conor McGregor! They called me Knox!
I just couldn't get over his walk. But for me, I felt like he was good up until the parts when he goes over the top. If he dialed it down just a little bit, he would have been perfect.
I think the other reason people are like, he saves this movie, is really until McGregor shows up, the movie's really boring.
And he doesn't show up for a long time. Yeah.
Which is probably why people are like, oh, Conor McGregor saves the movie. Because like he's this wacky, over-the-top character that's breathing life into what's otherwise been a pretty boring first half.
Because I don't know offhand the exact runtime, but I think it was about 2 hours.
Just
maybe,
over 2.
Yeah, just a little bit over 2 hours. For you, it felt like Killers of the Flower Moon
again.
It was
brutal. Yeah.
And then we paused a couple times during this because we had to discuss things. Conor McGregor doesn't come in until about maybe an hour,
a solid hour,
hour 10.
If you've never seen Roadhouse, which I imagine a lot of the people who are watching this have never seen Roadhouse before, and are Conor McGregor fans, and so like if you're watching Roadhouse, you're like, well, okay, when's something gonna happen? And then Knox, like his opening scene is pretty funny. Like it's, I'm in Italy and I'm walking around with no pants. Like it's awesome. If you take Conor McGregor, who he is here, and put him in the original Roadhouse, he fits right in.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see him being like a fan of Roadhouse, like, and then when he got offered this role, he was like, yes, I will do this. But in an Irish accent.
Yes, I'll do this. I love Roadhouse. Yeah.
What are some standout scenes to you? And what's working in this movie?
I like it when we're in the Roadhouse. And I feel like we weren't in the Roadhouse enough.
It does jump around a lot. I think is trying to set a stage for different things in the neighborhood. I think the original just did that way better. But if there's any highlight to it, I will say the action scenes look cool. However, I don't think they were done well. There's a caveat to that because for some reason, and I don't know if it's the way they shot it or maybe if they did some speed ramping, but it didn't look real. Like it looked almost CGI. Yeah,
some of the way they do the fights between Knox and Dalton definitely look interesting. I think Jake Gyllenhaal, when he's talking to the one part where I feel like I'm watching Roadhouse is when Jake Gyllenhaal goes, ooh, a double cross. Ooh, another double cross. Like, that's when I feel like he's being the most, is when he really goes for the comedic lines. And when I think they lean heavily into the comedy and the ridiculousness of this movie, that's when it's really good. And that's why I was actually really excited for this movie. Like, the trailer where he goes, where's the nearest hospital? Like, that's all funny. And so when he's being funny, it's great. And I think that's a lot of the highlights in the movie. His first fight with the bikers, driving them to the hospital, so good. There's a lot of good and a lot of funny here.
In that first opening scene, it feels playful and then it takes like a turn, but maybe uneven like tone.
Yeah, I think tone's everywhere. That's the issue. And this one goes for the ground, and it can't be grounded.
And we'll just shout out Amazon here too, because they didn't want to release this in theaters. So the three of us watched it on Amazon for the price of one movie ticket. So you're welcome, Amazon. Eddie would like to interject and say that he hates the new Roadhouse because there is no TNA at all.
Yeah, that's
except for Conor McGregor's ass.
Except for Conor McGregor, yeah. I mean, part of like that genre and era movie is like that's also a selling point of it.
The internet wasn't born yet, so that's all you could get. The actress that they got to play the doctor, horribly miscast. Any other characters that annoy you?
The sergeant being as involved as he is, and the other one, he's like, you get him in 3 scenes. This one, like, we sat down and talked to him about like life and shit, and that doesn't need to be involved. When they remake this movie, the owner is also a competent one in this remake. So like having clearly bad staff that wouldn't make sense for her, especially the way she's presented as a character.
We end up at the word grounded.
Yeah.
Because the original, obviously, these things just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal is doing what he's supposed to be doing, and I love him a little bit, not as much as Swayze.
I'm going to give you a hot take right now. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is also miscast. And I can give you a better one.
Okay.
Ryan Gosling.
No, disagree. Too suave, too smooth. I need a fighter.
No. He can be a fighter.
He can, but I don't like him as a fighter. Jake Gyllenhaal, better fighter.
His character from like Drive and The Nice Guys being mushed together.
Not a bouncer.
I'd believe it.
I don't.
All right. Moving on. What's your least favorite scene in this movie?
When they're drinking beer and they're off the boat with the doctor.
Yeah, that felt forced. Like I don't buy the chemistry.
Not at all. Not happening. Not there.
Ready for final thoughts?
Yeah, let's get this over with.
All right, final thoughts and ratings.
There's lots to laugh about. There's a lot to be sad about. This movie's all over the place. Doesn't know what it is. Is it grounded? Is it silly? Who knows? But the silly parts do make up for a lot of what's bad here. In true essence of Roadhouse, it is a bad movie, which almost make me give it points for it. But it's a bad movie that knows it's bad and capitalizes on it, but then tries to convince you it's not a bad movie. It's a really grounded movie. So totally all over the place. I don't know what it's really going for. I wish there was more silliness, but there's not enough. And too much seriousness. I wish there was less. And as crazy as this movie is grounded, a boat crashes into the Roadhouse at the end of this movie. It's all over the place. I am giving it a 2 because I did genuinely laugh. I was even thinking about giving it a 3. But I feel like that's too generous. It's a 2.
Roadhouse is punching at air. It's not hitting anything, at least for me. I think the most genuine thing I can do for this movie is give it 2 ratings. If you are a fan of the original, you are going to hate this movie for a lot of different reasons. You're also going to disagree with how they change different things. You may not like the updated version of it. But I think if you're a new person coming to Roadhouse, I think you'll enjoy it 10 times more. I think it is a decent film. That's the best word I can give for it. It is not a great film. It is a passable film. It is a mid film. For me, I would lean and give it a 2 out of 5. But I think if you've never seen the original, I think you would give it a 3 out of 5. I think there is enough there where it is funny. There is some action. You can have kind of a fun time. It is a little bit of a drag. What's weird enough is the original Roadhouse is also 2 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of long, but I like it.
It doesn't feel like it. I think there's more charm to the original. I think there's better balance of seriousness and unseriousness where it actually makes sense. I think this one makes an attempt, but also tries to ground it in a reality, and it doesn't work.
2?
So it's a 2 out of 5 for me, but I think if you're new to Roadhouse, you would give it a 3.
This has been another episode of Take 303. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you follow us at Take.303 on Instagram and FortWay_media to always check out what we're up to, check out all the reels and the things before they come out. We're going to put our poll question real simple. Did you like the original? Did you like this one? We'd love to hear it. Or third option, any Patrick Swayze film. The next time you'll be hearing an episode come out on Wednesday, it will be our Easter episode, despite it being the fact that it's after Easter. But it is for us. Palm Sunday just happened. It's Holy Week for Catholics out there, and that means on Good Friday coming up, Passion of Christ will be shown on lots of different television shows. And Nick has never seen the Passion of the Christ. We never thought we'd get an Easter special, but here we are. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.